What's up, guys, and welcome back to Gabe Miller Music. Today I am outdoors because I want this video to be a bit more laid back, a bit more casual. Let's just hang out and make beats. And what I also want to do in the process, the thing that's going to kind of tie all of this together, is I want to talk about some thoughts on creativity and coming up with song ideas. Because I did that Q&A video a little while ago where I talked about coming up with song ideas in this idea of taking something existing and then by going with your gut and going with your first instinct for what that could become, coming up with a new song idea and kind of developing your sound through that. So today I want to actually demonstrate that by making a few beats in a couple different styles, all using the same pack of sounds. And in this case, this is the DeLorean Dream sound pack for the Novation Circuit. I'll put the link to that in the description. But right now I'm going to start this video off by showing the making of the beat that you already heard in the intro and then expanding on that some more. So at this point, the Novation Circuit went ahead and died on me, so I ended up going ahead and finishing that beat later, played around with some alternate chords, and ended up building into this kind of second section. So I will play that for you right now over this vloggy montage. So at this point, it's probably obvious that my latest obsession has been this kind of retro future music, synthwave, space wave, a little bit of vaporwave, and that kind of thing. And so at the time that I made that beat, that's what I was thinking about, and that's really what the pack that I was using is meant for. But any beat that I make really depends on what my mood is at the time. So the exact same pack of sounds can give completely different inspiration depending on the time I'm making music. But before I get to that, a quick finger drumming interlude. All right, now that I've got that out of my system, we can move on to the second beat. And for this one, I was trying to very consciously imitate the style of deadmau5 and other folks like him in kind of older progressive house, something like Faxing Berlin. That kind of analog synths, very warm, these lush chords, because the pack really lends itself well to that. And so I wanted to actually try to recreate that style. And so this is what I ended up making. sometimes in cases like this where I'm doing multiple octaves or whatnot, I do have to play a melody in pieces. So finally, once I had all that, I went ahead and developed this into a full track, figuring out the structure and arrangement of the song, and you can hear that right now. So hopefully now that you've heard these two beats, this gets across the basic idea that I'm trying to convey, which is that taking something existing and then doing kind of what your gut dictates can very quickly help you come up with ideas. And often this leads to you developing your own sound, because people like Jay Dilla or Daft Punk, who were really known for sampling a lot of stuff, they ended up developing this really well-known, unique style that the second you hear something that Jay Dilla or Daft Punk produced, you know what you're hearing, because they took something existing, in this case the stuff that they sampled, and used it to fuel their creativity. And I try to use this idea in my own productions a lot, except in my case it pertains to drum samples and synth presets. One kind of analogy or mental model that I think could really help you out is something I was thinking about the other day actually, which is the idea of your signature, like when you sign a check or something, your physical signature. Because for me, I used to write my signature in cursive back when I was having to learn to write cursive, and I realized eventually that I was never gonna use cursive for anything else, so I was like, well, I'll come up with a new signature. Why not? And so what I basically did while trying to come up with my signature was to write my name just in normal manuscript text, but write it as messily as possible. And what this did was it would accentuate certain little quirks in my handwriting. And when I would see a little quirk, I would, instead of going, that's kind of weird, since it's a signature and it's supposed to kind of have its own unique look, I would actually embrace that and roll with it until now I've got a signature that has these certain features, like the fact that the R tends to trail way off to the right, and there are certain scribbles now I can kind of reproduce the signature whenever I need to. So here's how this analogy ties back to finding your own sound when making music. Think of the final signature as the final product, the end product, the song, and then think about your name and English lettering as the pre-existing thing. Maybe something you're sampling, maybe you're building something around a vocal, maybe you're using samples or presets, and then think of the intuitive, kind of messy handwriting as your taste in music, what you tend to gravitate towards when you listen to music, and the kind of thing you'd really be happy to have produced. If you do this consistently over time, eventually you'll develop kind of a unique signature sound that you have. Even if you're not completely breaking new ground, you'll at least have something that's identifiably you and not just someone else's. So to finish off this video, I'm going to do that one last beat that I mentioned, 'cause I did promise you 3 beats. And this one is in the breakbeat style, which I made kind of the older version of that in the Making Matrix Beats video. But for this one, I wanted to go a little more modern, a little more kind of modern bass music, but with that breaks kind of sensibility to it. So without further ado, here is the making of that last beat. Alright, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, I'd love to have you subscribe and hit that like button. I will be back with a new video on Saturday. So until then, I will see you guys next time. Peace!